Welcome everybody to Big J's World. I'm Big J. Here today we have Miss Janine. So Miss Janine, if you want to introduce yourself to the people who's watching, how long have you been on TikTok? Have you been like an avid reader from when you were a kid and all the things?
Hi, Big J. So I had been on TikTok for all of, I want to say I really started at the end of January. I'd already previously had one for a couple of, like maybe like a year or two, and I just wasn't really active with it. And then finally I was like, you know what? Like I really want to start like talking to people more about books. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to go with it. And I've been making frequent content, but it was more like along the lines too. It was like I wanted to be able to introduce people to different authors, different genres, really put those out there because especially on TikTok, you see a lot of the same books are pushed and pushed and pushed. And I wanted to try my best to diversify what everyone was seeing and really put out authors and things that I think really deserve their moment in the light and things like that. And also support a lot of indie authors because a lot of indie authors go on there. And I've been reading all my life. My mom, who just recently passed away, she really introduced me to the love of reading. Reading was my safe place. Reading has always been my safe place ever since I was 7. So that's another thing that I just really want to make sure that I am out there sharing with people, just the power of reading and what it can really do for people.
So what book did your mother got you to read first? Like which type of books would she read to you or introduce you to?
So my mom used like the Disney books. I don't know if you remember them. They're super old. So they were like, there's the gold spine ones, but then there's also, I wish I could go find them. I have them locked away because they're like, they could fall apart at any moment, but they're like late 80s, early 90s, like Disney hardback books. My mom was all about Disney. So those were the ones that I remember reading with her the most were those. Like all the little Disney stories, all the little princess stories. Like most girls, the generic princess that we all adored was Belle. Because at the time you didn't really, you just didn't see princesses like really put like an education or like reading above everything else. So
Wow. All right. Are there I know which books you're talking about. They have like characters in the back as well, right? The hardcover. Is it the gold something?
Yeah.
And it's still going strong.
Yeah. They're still going strong, but I don't think they're like the same.
No, they're not.
I know they make Golden Girl ones about one.
Really, the Golden Girl ones?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what? So you said you were reading from a young age. Have you fell out of reading? If so, which book got you back into it?
I've never, so I know a lot of people, and I think it's really awesome. I mean, the pandemic was terrible, but I think it's really awesome that during that time, it really like re-sparked a lot of people's love of reading. But I did not fall out with reading at all, ever. Like, I think it changed throughout my life because there were times where I wasn't really into reading, like maybe full-fledged books, but I remember there was a few years all I did was read poetry because of like the things I was going through. And then there was obviously little poetry writers that were really writing things that I was really feeling.
Right.
And it was able for me to connect with. And then sometimes it was able for me to feel a little more seen at the time. And then I think after those, like the 1 or 2 years, then I really got back into reading a lot more. But I mean, my favorite author is Christopher Buehlman. I don't know. He's the one, he got really popular again. He wrote Between Two Fires, and that book got super popular again, and for good reason, in my opinion. But that I love to try to share. I'm trying to read his entire catalog right now. Yeah, I just really love his writing style. I love his characterizations. I love his banter. Like everything flows so naturally. That is crazy. It's super crazy. But I think that if I could like really, if someone was like, gun to your head, you have to like tell me one person that I have to read, or you want to read Possession, I think it would be him for sure. But
So if you had to like choose one book to take with you, it'll be his. Like
it would be like, I'd be like, can I take the entire catalog?
all right. So you mentioned poetry. So um which poets would you read during like your tough times?
Gosh, I can't remember. I have them in there. I think one of them is like, I think it's like R.H. Sin.
Mhm.
I know it's super popular. But I really love his works. I think I bought all of them. And then I can't remember her name. I think it like the last Love and is the last part. It's like Lauv. But I can't remember her first name. But she was like one of my favorites. Like just some of the things that she would say would really help like brighten my day. And then the author of Milk and Honey, Rupi Kaur, I think is her name. Oh my gosh, I'm probably slaughtering it. I would have to like literally look at it. But because she wrote some poems based off of an experience she had because she had been sexually like assaulted, I believe, or someone she knew was sexually assaulted. And that is unfortunately something that I think a lot of women and myself included, there's an instance where that may or may not have happened to you either fully, or you may have been in an uncomfortable situation. And I just remember the first time I read her poetry book, and it was going through these things, and it was like a survivor kind of going through those 5 layers of grief, I remember it was the first time that like I felt seen in a weird way. And like it was the first time that I was able to really like sit and think like someone understands like how I feel. Someone understands the words that I can't express type situation. And I think that's why I know a lot of people sometimes don't always talk about poetry, but I think poetry is such a beautiful form of literature because I think it speaks to the bare bones of us as a person, and it's able to connect so fully with the soul of a person in a way that it takes an author maybe a few pages or like the whole entire book to get you to feel, you know? And someone that writes poetry is able to do it within a page or two. So
That's crazy. Like exactly like you said, it takes a whole like I've read a couple of books, that's maybe like really emotionally like hit me.
mhm,
Others are like just fun reads. I honestly don't remember them.
mhm,
But I've read poetry a long time ago. I just like
mhm,
a poem here or there, but not really, delve into it. But
mhm,
just the power of the word
mhm.
to actually make someone just relate to it or actually heal from their situation is
Mhm.
incredible.
It really is. Yeah. It really is. Like, there's one on Instagram that I follow, but he does like animations with it. And I don't know if you necessarily call him poetry, but he goes by 1924. I don't know if I'm
1924.
Yes. And so I wouldn't necessarily know if you would call him poetry or not, but it's almost in the realm. It reminds me almost of like R.M. Drake or like R.H. Sin, where it's just like sometimes it's just like little words, like one little sentence. But like it's a powerful little sentence. And like obviously people are sharing it and things like that all over Instagram. And like it seems so small, right? Because like they're like I said, they're animated. So it's done by Mr. Scully is what he calls his little animation. So it's a little skeleton. And like above it will be like words or like a feeling or like something that says like something simple like keep going or all these things. And it's just like people are sharing it, but I don't think they're understanding the power that that has. Like, 'cause sometimes, like I said, I know a lot of us can be closed off or don't know how to express like how we're feeling or what's going on in our lives. And like, there's something so beautiful and just so human and like, it just seems so small, but it's really not. It's such a big thing to have someone share something and it really portrays like what's going on with them. And like, if it's something that they cannot physically say themselves enough to make the people that love them or care about them to like be like, hey, like, how do you feel? Or like, what's going on? Or just anything like that. Or maybe sharing something like that helps heal someone or make someone feel seen that you know and you love and care about, maybe hasn't expressed to you how they're feeling, you know?
Right. Wow. It's something, maybe something so simple. We like God.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. So would you say that reading poetry or reading a book helped you in some difficult situations?
I would say that, yeah, it's helped me in a lot of difficult situations, but I think that's the beauty of literature is that like it helps you. But I think when you read certain stories, that's why I tell people you really need to diversify your reading because when you read other people's stories, it really opens you up, I think, to be more empathetic with people and to really like view the stories of another person or see those things and be able to connect with them in a way maybe that you hadn't been able to do before.
Mm.
And that's why I tell people all the time, like, not just diversify your reading, but really just read in general. Like, literature and, you know, music and things like that are just so important because they really like help us connect to each other in a way that we wouldn't before.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So yeah, crazy.
mhm.
That's the thing about it, right? So I see that you're reading Red Rising, and that's a sci-fi fantasy I don't know, romance? Is it romancy?
There is no romance in this, thank God.
Thank
Or no, I don't know. It's too early for me to tell,
you.
but nothing about this seems romantic. So if there's something in
You're in the beginning. Just give it some time, I guess. I haven't picked it up, but I've been told to pick it up, and
Mhm.
they tell me it's really good. I don't know. I've I've started as a thriller guy, then went into fantasy.
Mhm.
Fantasy is still a love-hate relationship. I
Yeah.
either like it or I don't. It depends on the book.
Mhm.
And now I'm in dark romance, which
Okay.
I'm like diving head first, which
Mhm.
I didn't think that I would love dark romance as much,
Mhm.
but everybody has a different opinion of it.
Yeah.
So what are your top three genres would you actually aim for if you're gonna like sit down and pick up a book?
My number one is always going to be horror. Horror is my favorite. Second would be like psychological thrillers or just in the thriller genre itself. And then third would be high fantasy. It would be high fantasy, not necessarily. I don't have a problem with romantasy, but I right now it just feels a lot of like romantasy itself. Um, feels a lot like rinse and repeat,
Hmm.
and that's what I don't necessarily like. And I know almost every genre can almost feel like a rinse and repeat. That's why I think you really gotta dive in and try to find the authors that make the genre their own. But yeah, horror is always going to be right when I go to Barnes and Noble, or if I am blessed to be able to go to an indie bookstore because we don't have those where I live. Um,
Same.
yes, okay, so you know my pain,
Yeah.
but I usually always head straight for the horror section first, and then after that will always be like the fantasy section, and then thriller is a little hard because they have it like placed in with lit fic most of the time.
Hmm.
So I'm like, but I don't necessarily hate that because sometimes I find like a good lit fic book that I do like, and I use that as like a palette cleanser. I used to use like romance and dark romance as palette cleansers, but then like they slowly started making me mad. So
Like, all right. So which book was slowly making you mad then? Which one would it be?
I use question. I wish I well, because my thing is like I'm always like, be honest, right? Be
Be
honest. But
honest. Just be honest.
But I know, and like, right, it's my opinion. I know it's not the same for everybody. I did have someone, Jess, Steffi's friend, tell me that I need to read her MM romances because she thinks they're written a lot better than her FM romances. Um, I don't like Rena Kent books.
Okay.
But that's where she was like, okay, she's like, I understand when it comes to like the FM, MF, whatever ones. She's like, but if you read the MM ones, she's like, those are a lot better. So maybe I'll give one of those a shot and see if that's true. But I have tried 2 of her books and I just could not. I could not. The characters, like I said, a lot of it reminded me kind of almost like a Wattpad. And then it's just, there was no real like character development. There was really no like plot. And then I don't mind a romance or a dark romance, but I, in my humble opinion, don't think those things should go over 300 pages. I have read some that are like under 300 pages, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I liked that. Like, was some of it corny? Yeah, but it was nice, and I can say that. But when it goes over that much, I'm like, what are we doing? What crisis are we in? Like, if it's not like a mafia romance and maybe something really crazy is happening, we need to tone that down just a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's fair. Like you are not you're not the only one that does not like Rena Kent. I have
Really?
someone else. Yeah. It's a
Okay.
very 50-50 with her
Yeah.
writing. Some love it and adore it, others don't like
Yeah.
it.
It's like I by all means, like that's like I don't that's why it's hard for me sometimes to say like I don't like something because I don't ever want to yuck anyone's yum.
Yeah.
Right. To me, I'm like, I'm just glad someone's reading. I don't care. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you love her or you love, romance and dark romance, and that's your bread and butter, and you're like, I can't stand thrillers or horror books or whatever, like that's okay. I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Like I'm just happy people are reading.
Mm-hmm.
Read what you want to read. And that's why it's just hard for me sometimes to say what I don't like because I don't want anyone to take obviously my opinion, that's just my opinion. No one should care about my opinion. But I just don't want to yuck anyone's yum.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's
No.
a crazy, unless you like yum something that is deserves to be yucked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Like honestly, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, and it's my opinion. But everybody's in love with the boys of comment, the whole stuff like that. I
uh-huh.
instantly DNF'd it after 13 chapters.
Hey, but at least you gave
Second
it a
time.
shot.
Second time, I DNF'd it after 5. Then I went 8 more chapters, and automatically, I can't do it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like the whole college trauma bonding. That's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
But see,
So,
that's fair. I think that's fair. You know what I mean? I think if you read something and you're like, that's not for me, like, okay, so again, this is where I need to start learning to read the fucking back of things. Um,
no, but
Steffi,
it's fun. It's
no,
fun without reading it. Yeah. Like
but
literally, let me give you a great example, right? Um, this book, The Never King,
uh-huh.
right? It's a Peter Pan retelling. I
Oh
saw
yeah.
Vicious Lost Boys, Peter Pan,
Mhm.
automatically. Didn't read it back. Read it, loved it. 200 pages, by the way.
Oh yeah, Josh and Zach just read that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
I see,
so
but like, Bad Bishop? Have you seen that
I've
one?
heard of Bad Bishop.
Okay, so this is why I say I need to read the back because so 2 of the icks I don't like. I do not like pregnancies in books, and I also do not like age gap. And like, I don't mind age gap, but when you're like telling me that someone's like almost 30 years old, open it, open it. But when you tell me, open it, okay. But when you tell me like please open it. When you tell me the girl's 18 and he's almost 30, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so no.
Yeah.
And my
I mean,
sister's like, Janine, we were like that. I don't care, dude. Like,
perfect example. You read Frida books, right? Do you like
yeah,
Frida books?
yeah. Well, I think I like some of them.
Yeah. So, the teacher, I would put that on the bottom of my list if anyone wants to read something.
Really?
because it has that age gap trope of it's a high school teacher and a high school student. And I can't, yeah. I read the book. It was an okay book, but I wouldn't, uh, people loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I, no, that'll be the last one I will ever recommend someone to read. I still have it because I keep the books.
See, I didn't know that, but I had a feeling, right? When you see the name, the teacher,
Mm-hmm.
my sister just read I read a book. I can't remember what the heck it's called, but I was like, just tell me about it because I'm probably never going to read it. And boy, this author seemed to have taken like, what tropes, what themes can I just shove in here all at once to make a book? Because my sister said it was just like too much. It was like an overload of too much going on. And one of the things in that book was that the high school teacher was having an affair with two other students, and one of them he raped.
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
yeah. And I
What
was
book
just
was
like,
that?
I'll have to find it. Has a sunflower on the cover of it. But like that's not even the craziest thing that happened in the book. Like when she was breaking down everything, I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I almost completely DNF'd it. She's like, but I was already at like 80% of the way through.
I would have just stopped.
I would have too. I was like, heck no.
Mm-mm. Uh, is it The Secret Life of Sunflowers?
Yes. Does it have like a dead sunflower on the cover?
It has maybe, probably. I just googled it. Secret Life of Sunflowers. No, it has like a old guy on it. That's
I don't know.
no.
I'm gonna have to.
Mhm.
I'll have to ask her. But like, cause then she told me like there's another one where like I don't know how much to say because I don't know if anyone's like hearing that and is like I feel interested, but
No,
like
they haven't read it. Too bad. They should
I know.
just click forward.
But she's like telling me like basically like the 6-year-old son is a serial killer or like is like murdered another little girl. Then there was one of the girls that thought this other woman was their mom, actually was kidnapped by this lady and was slowly regaining memories. And then you have that teacher and the two kids, and then the husband is having an affair with a lady, and then the daughter hates the mom because she walks in on her getting sexually assaulted by the same teacher who's doing it to the kids and thinks that the mom liked it. So she hates the mom because she thinks the mom is willfully cheating on the dad. I was like, this is too much. It's too much happening in one book. You need to rein it in and pick something else.
Right, right. Jeez. I've DNF books. Well, I've DNF one book, actually two books because of the writing itself.
Mm-hmm.
One was a historical fiction. I think it's called The Redemption. I
Mm-hmm.
think it looks like it's an orange cover with it looks like it's an implantation or whatever.
Yeah.
It's historical fiction. I stopped reading it because every last word, and I get it, it's historical fiction, was the N word, and I couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't. And it was a black author who wrote it. Good for
Mm-hmm.
them. They wanted their book out, but it was something that I can't keep
Mm-hmm.
reading because of that particular.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I've never said it when I was growing up. I've always
Mm-hmm.
said it when with my friends when I was in high school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, I wouldn't. I can't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
DNF'd it, sold it back, and got another book.
No, that's me. I feel like sometimes for me, like the word itself makes me uncomfortable, but I feel like if it's in a certain book and the author is using it appropriately, I can kind of deal with it. And that's the thing is I think what makes me uncomfortable is when sometimes you feel like maybe someone's overusing it or not,
Mhm.
and then you're just like, is this necessary? Like, we understood them saying it, a line or two ago. I don't think we need to keep repeating it. So I understand where you're coming from, because then I just get like super like, was this necessary?
No. I don't think so, but people loved it. I will continue again. So
Yeah.
I'm not, like you said, I'm not going to yuck someone's yum. If they love the book, great. If not, fine.
And that was my main thing. I remember when I was getting on TikTok was like, I was always just scared because people post on multiple ones. So they take their book talk stuff and put it on their Instagram. And I always thought Instagram was a lot more scarier than TikTok. But then I would just see like some of the comments or like how certain people are reacting to certain people's TikToks about their opinions on stuff. And I always found that so weird. It's like, if it's not like a super harmful opinion, like if it's a harmful opinion, I understand that. And I understand if you need to educate somebody on why that opinion is really like detrimental to whatever is happening. But if it's just someone's opinion and it's not life changing, it's not earth shattering, it's not going to do anything to you personally, I just always found it weird when people would attack people online for either liking something or not liking something. Like me personally, like it's not needed. Like for me, I personally will probably never read anything Sarah J. Maas. And it's mostly because of, what she did when Breonna Taylor passed away. That's not what she did with her Instagram post and how she added it in there, but then also was talking about buying her book. Like that, I think is weird. I don't agree with that. That was a woman who was wrongfully murdered, who, if you want to make a post about her and show some respect for her and her family, do that. Don't do it the way that she chose to do it. So for me personally, I will never pick up a Sarah J. Maas book. But I also am not going to be crazy and attack everybody I see that has it on their shelf. You know what I mean? Because that's a lot of people that have that on their shelves. But that's just me personally. So like I said, it's a thing where you got to remember you are an adult and you are in charge of your own emotions and things. And just because I feel a certain way about something doesn't mean that I need to go and push it on to you. And because like I know Josh and a few, who else, and Val, I think said that series got them back into reading. And I think it got my sister back into reading. So like, who am I to go and say anything to you just because, this individual did something that I don't feel was appropriate? Like that's for me to feel, that's for me to have my own thing. So at the same time, it's like, just respect me enough to know I will not read. I know they've asked me a few times if I'm ever going to read it.
No.
But
I mean, and it's regardless of how popular the book is, and it's still popular now, even though it's written in 2015, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
People love what they want to read. I've only read the first book. I didn't know none of this until later on. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't, to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of the first book. It's no sweat off my back if I don't read the rest of it. So
yeah. But I mean, at least you read it and like it may or may not have been for you. You know what I mean? So that's okay. And it's the same thing. Like I really love Neil Gaiman. But then I don't know if you heard about what came out for him last year.
I didn't know who Neil Gaiman is and why happened last year.
Okay, so Neil Gaiman is the one that wrote Coraline.
Oh,
he wrote Coraline. He wrote Good Omens. He wrote American Gods, Stardust. That was made into a movie as well. So he's a very popular writer, and unfortunately, like he was one of my favorites. And then unfortunately last year, like a few women came out and were talking about how he sexually assaulted them. And I was immediately like, well, guess you're going off my shelf, bud. And everyone's been doing that whole like, oh, innocent until proven guilty thing because he's still in the middle of his legal battle for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, no, I don't play that. Like, I'm on the team of I believe the victims when they come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, which makes me really sad because he was married to Amanda Palmer, who was one of my favorite artists of all time. So, but
It's like, you're coming off my shelf.
so I was like, well, I was like, at least his wife is still cool, or ex-wife, I'm sorry, but she's cool still. But dang, I was like, I went and I removed everything I had of his off my shelf. So I was like,
So reading.
mm-hmm.
Are your kids into reading? Did they pick up that trait from you?
My
Such.
my oldest daughter, not as much, but I think she's like me because I have ADHD, but I know there's different forms of ADHD, and but I mean, for me, it took me a long time to be able to get myself down to be able to read. It's still really hard for me. Like if I hear sounds or something's going on, like I immediately like search for it or like want to get up, or like sometimes my brain will be like, we gotta go do this, and like in the middle of me trying to read a sentence. So I think that's what she got from me, and like it's hard. I think it's harder, especially when you're a kid, to figure out what it is you like to read.
Right.
And that's the struggle that I have with her. Is like I'm just like, well, what do you feel like reading? What do you think will grab your interest? Do you want to do like a magical school? Like, do you want to try? I personally will not buy any Harry Potter books, but I have a friend who has them that's offering to let her borrow them if she wants to try them. Um, but my middle child and my youngest, so the 6-year-old, she likes to read. She likes to go to the library with me. She likes to pick out her books, and then she likes to have us read the books to her. She's slowly getting to the point now where she's like learning her sight words so she can kind of read to us or tell us what word she can see that's a sight word, which is pretty fun. But her favorite book is Leo the Late Bloomer. Have you ever heard of that book?
No, Leo the Late Bloomer.
So that was a book when I was a kid.
Oh.
So it made me kind of happy that she liked it. I was like, yeah.
When I was a kid, didn't really care for reading books. Either if I did, it was the Berenstain Bears.
Oh, I had those.
Yeah, those are the books that I would read. Anything else, didn't really care for. I was more of a PBS kid, Mr. Rogers. I grew up watching that.
You didn't read Arthur books? You could have read Arthur books.
I watched the Arthur TV show, okay? Magic School Bus books, maybe. They had a TV show. I would watch it. So I was an avid reader until I met my wife.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. This one was the first book I actually finished and read twice. Cover to cover. Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah. It's the gist of it, it's a kid who loses his mother by a drunk driver when she goes down to the gas station to pick up chicken for dinner. She gets hit by a drunk driver and he drives off. He's left with his dad, who's a raging alcoholic. He's doing bad at school. He does bad things with his friends.
Ayanna Ren.
Meet this old guy who's up the street, who's grumpy as hell, has a dog. And then one day, something happened in the shed, and it was like big bats and stuff. And then the old guy leaves his house and the dog to the kid because he passed away. And he finds a hole that goes into another world. And time over there moves differently than in the normal world. So it's more of, I figured, after reading that book, it's more of like the relationship with him and his father. Why did the old guy leave this whole house to him? And self-growth when he's going through the whole different world.
Hmm.
So it's a really fun read. I
Hmm.
would call it a horror fantasy. It's more fantasy than horror, which is like really
Okay.
different from Stephen King. So
Yeah. So that sounds like a bit of Coraline meets Pan's Labyrinth meets.
yeah,
But that sounds interesting. I always seen it and I was just like unsure if I wanted to read it, but maybe I'll pick it up at the library the next time I go.
oh yeah, definitely. If you love it, great. If you don't like it, you DNF'd it, that's fine.
I'll get back to you. Well, I usually like majority of his books. I think there was only like one of his books where I was like, this wasn't for me type situation. That's what I tell people too. I'm like, if you see an author and it's an author that's published more than once, like especially if it has to do with like their older works to their newer works. I know some people prefer older works compared to newer or things like that. Like Ronald Malfi. My husband loves Ronald Malfi. I read one of the books that he really liked. I hated it. But it doesn't mean that I'm gonna like try one more Ronald Malfi book. And then if I don't like that one, then I can say like for sure I just don't like his writing or like,
Right.
but I at least want to like try one more time
Mhm.
and then decide. That's what I tell people too. I'm like, if someone has a big catalog, maybe it's just that story or that type of writing that you just didn't really vibe with. So try maybe another one. And if it's the same for you then you could be like, hey,
Yeah,
I just didn't like it.
exactly. So so okay, what is your ideal like comfort? Well, I said this question many times and I can't really like explain it now. So let me start from the beginning. What do you need to sit down and read? What is your whole setup like when you're not taking care of the kids and you have time for yourself and you're just gonna sit down and read? What's your whole setup?
Honestly, I wish I was like more cool. And because I see people on Instagram and on TikTok, and they have like these really cute little setups with their Kindles and stuff like that. I don't have that. Really, all I need is I just need someplace that I can have that's quiet, whether it's like at the table or like sitting on my bed or like even laying on the bed and my book. That's literally all I need. I'm not anything fancy. Like I said, I wish I was. I wish I was a little more like aesthetically pleasing, because like everyone has like their little trays with their snacks and stuff like that. I don't really want snacks. Maybe I want a drink or something. Um, but really, like it's just I just need my book or my tablet, whatever I'm reading it on, and just somewhere comfortable and quiet.
Yeah, just a chill spot. That's good. You know, sometimes I don't have a spot to read. You know what I'm reading? On a train to Boston. That's what I'm reading. And then reading in the office while I do work, and then on the way back home. I don't usually read at home.
Really?
I read Monday and Tuesday, and usually I'm like binge reading where I'm doing.
Mhm.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, because it's long. I take public transportation, so it's about an hour and a half, 2 hour commute back home. So
Okay. That is a long time. That is a long
yeah,
commute thing.
and literally, I live like on a good day, 20 minutes from Boston, and yet it takes that long on public transportation.
Is it just the amount of stops happening or like what is
Yep, yep.
that's crazy.
hmm There's one bus that goes from my city to Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about a 40-minute ride because of the stops.
Yeah.
And God forbid there's traffic on the Tobin. If there's traffic on the Tobin Bridge, that's another
Uh,
20 to 15 minutes added to my trip. Then once I get to Boston, I have to take the subway, which is another 20 minutes, depending if it's running on time.
mhm.
It's running well, then I'll get to work on time. Usually I'm like up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
Sometimes I try to be.
Subways are scary. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you get stuck, you get stuck. What else are you gonna do? It's,
I don't know. I think it's just the way they look. and like the train stations themselves. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, ah. And then again, maybe I watched too many horror movies.
Too many horror movies, too many horror train movies.
Too many of them are just like trapped. Too many horror games with you is stuck in trains.
I've been stuck on trains more than once. And I'm like either pissed because I'm stuck on it. I'm like, all right, there's nothing else I could do. I'm just gonna play on my phone until this train starts moving.
I know you're like extra reading time.
Yeah. So it's just a chill spot. Anywhere that you can sit quiet and just read. That's good. Yeah. So you spoke about DNFing. So if I was gonna come to you and I wanted to read a horror book, and I have never read a horror book before, which is like the first book that you're gonna gravitate towards and say, hey, you should read this?
Okay, so and he's recent for me. His name's Neil Sharpson, and it's called The Burial Tide. The Burial Tide. And I think it's such a great introduction for people who are not used to horror, because that's the thing, right? It's like I've had people be like, oh, give me horror recommendations. Well, what kind? Because the thing is some people don't want to read body horror. Some people don't want gore. Some people don't, want like people getting murdered on every page, and then like there's like long descriptions of murder, or like there's like, I mean, there's just so many things I can think of. And so I'm like, what would be the tamest thing for me to give you that's spooky, that builds up the suspense, gives you a little thriller element, but isn't overwhelming, right? And to me, I think that's The Burial Tide by Neil Sharpson. Like, it's perfect. Like, I literally, I remember reading it and thinking, like, it's not, to me, it wasn't really like a horror book. It felt more like a thriller, but like in a good way, not in a terrible way. And it just made me realize, like, this would be the perfect book to give people that have never really like dipped their toes into horror, or have tried a horror book and it was too much, you know? I think another one would be like Slash Beauties by A.H. Rushby. Like, that one's a newer one too, but like it had a good storyline to it. It was not necessarily like linear, and you're following the two women, and just the horror element in that was more about just humankind in general, which I think is really interesting. But I think like those two are really good ways of like introducing people to horror without doing too much all at once. But then there's like classics like The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. Has horror elements in it, but is nothing crazy, and it's only 164 pages. Don't read anything David Soderbergh. I mean, do read him if you enjoy gore and just all out like unhinged horror books. But that's what I was like. That's why I was like, I need to know, like, when someone comes to me and like you said, like, oh, I'm a first time horror reader. Like, you really have to stop and think, like, what's the safest thing to introduce them to, and then slowly give them something else before you're like balls to the wall giving them David Soderbergh books, and you're just like, have fun, read Rotten Tommy, it's gonna be great.
So, all right, those are great suggestions, because I've at one point I wanted to delve into horror. So I'm like, all right, I like Stephen King. I've read some other books from him. Like, maybe Stephen King's a hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
You know? So one day I was just looking. I was at Barnes and Nobles, and I found Paul Tremblay.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah. I read Horror Movie. I didn't like it.
You did it? Okay.
No. I like how it was formatted. It was really interesting. Like, you get into chapters, and then you get like a screenplay. That one chapter, which was really cool. But the actual story for me, I was one lost, and two, the ending really, I don't know, really put me off. You probably liked it. Have you read the book or no?
I think, yeah, no, I did read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember, yeah, because I the whole time I'm like, what?
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I see where you're
I
coming
was
from.
I was so confused. I haven't put off more,
Hmm.
but anything else from him, I probably wouldn't touch.
Which is so sad because Head Full of Ghosts by him is really good. But that's a possession horror, so that's one of those things you got to be like,
Yeah, in the
that's
right
with.
mind.
Yes. Like another one I think would be good. Is it's called Your Shadow Self Remains or Your Shadow Half Remains. I think it's Your Shadow Half Remains. I can't remember the author's name off the top of my head right now, unfortunately, but it's like a little novella, and I loved it. It's, I think, a really interesting take. Like, I'm sure maybe you've seen 28 Days Later.
Not yet. It's on my
Okay.
thing to watch.
Okay, so how in that film people aren't necessarily zombies. They get more infected and then they kind of like rage. Like it's an unhinged rage. That's kind of like almost the present, the like what Your Shadow Half Remains is about. But it's more like if you get eye contact with people, like it triggers like something in your brain and then you just automatically get violent and try to like beat people up. Not beat people up, you just try to like end people. And I just really thought it was an interesting concept. And like there's just this really like good psychological play that's happening throughout the whole thing. You start to realize maybe the narrator is not reliable. Like it's and like for such a short book, it does such a great job of like building that tension and making you like second guess everything that you're seeing through the narrator's eyes. And I think that would be a good one as well.
All right.
I'm trying to think too.
All right. Definitely check that out. All right. I'll try Paul Tremblay one more time. I mean, I've only read one book of it, his,
Mhm.
so I'll try it again and
Yeah.
see which one
You
sticks.
know, he has a new one. I just got it from Aardvark.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's like from what I garnered, it's like supposed to be like almost like a sci-fi horror-ish type style of book. I mean, you can always try that one too. I would just say like read the back of what he has because he has quite a bit of them. I think I have like I know I have the Pallbearers Club. I know people really like that one. I have yet to read it, but I would just say like read the synopsis on them and then see maybe if one of them speaks to you a little bit. But I agree on the horror movie one. That one I remember I think I gave it like a 3.25 when I was done because it didn't get me confused. It was just like, I don't know. I think the buildup wasn't executed very well.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick Cutter, oh, I know. I think the new one coming out is by Nick. No, Marion. Marion is the new one. No. Look at, I'm trying to get all my books in a row and I'm like, wait. Because I know Nick Cutter just came out with a brand new book. But my favorite from his last year was The Queen.
Mm-hmm.
That one was so good. It was so good. Good job. Wow. But yeah, no, it was so good. But I wouldn't recommend that to anyone that hasn't read like some form of body horror because it does have like pug body horror ish.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a good book and it's such a good story. I liked it. I was like, I dig it. If you want to make fun of
But
it.
yeah, definitely gonna dip my foot into horror, and I'll check it out next time. It might be uh well, we do have some of that. Have you been to Salem?
No, I want to.
You should. They just opened up a new indie bookstore. Uh, yeah. I mean, if you're coming to Salem,
Hmm.
I know you want to do the whole spooky season just before war. It gets insane over here.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I might not come during necessarily spooky season.
yeah. I mean, it's any day of the year, yeah, come.
Mhm.
But if you really want to experience Salem during the spooky season, it starts at
Mhm.
the end of September and it doesn't end until like the first week of November.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not a fan of like big
Witchcraft.
crowds. I don't like being around big crowds, which is crazy to say because I'm a Disney adult
How do
and
you
like
do it? There's large
Well,
crowds.
I always pick the time when there's not a lot of people. So like there's still an adequate amount of people at Disney, but I just know like what time of the year to go when like you can literally walk with your family like touching hands down Main Street instead of like being like
Yeah, stuck to each other.
yeah, fighting for your life.
We we did not so spooky Halloween
Mm-hmm.
one year. It was really fun.
Yeah.
We went to like it did trick or treating and different rides and stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
it was fun. Um, but yeah. So here's a question I ask everybody.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch Steffi's uh episode,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see it's in every episode that I do it. But do you or do you not crack your spines, your book spines?
I do not.
Do not.
I do not. I don't do anything to harm my books. I do not do anything to harm my books. Like I don't even like when people dog ear their books. Like, and I get it. Like you paid for it, you do what you want with it, but just don't physically do it in front of me, please. Like when people write in their books, I'm just like, my sister does that. My sister loves to highlight and write in her books. And I'm just like, like, I don't like it.
I mean, in a textbook, it's a textbook. You need to highlight, write, and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a different book. Yeah, no, not me.
Well, that's why I was like, I'll just get sticky notes and I'll just write whatever it is that's happening that I need to like discuss later. Yeah. But I can easily just type this out and then the page is still lovely.
Right.
And yeah. I don't crack the spines on my books. If my books like just so happen and then they're like, oh, but how do you read your book? I like this, brother. I will do this.
Yeah.
Like
You hold the spine, cradle the spine.
you cradle it. I'm not trying to break it. Oh my God. But I've seen those videos.
No. If you know who you should definitely follow, and I'll send you her TikTok if you haven't followed her yet.
Mm-hmm.
Erin Reads. I don't know if you know her or follow her.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, she does a lot of dark romance, dark fantasy. She goes live like almost every day.
Okay.
She has her own library. Like she does her lives from her library.
Mm-hmm.
And I will definitely like send you her TikTok page. So your tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the story behind it, if you don't mind me asking?
They don't really have like too much of a story to them.
Mm-hmm.
I knew when I was like 12. I knew by the time I was 12 that I wanted to be like heavily covered in tattoos, even if it like takes me a majority of my life. So my upper body is officially like finished. I did want to get my neck done, but currently I'm trying to do something very important, and the job that I'm applying for and everything, you can't really have anything on your neck. So I always tell everyone like if that falls through for some reason, I'm getting my neck blasted. But my upper body is mostly all done. Most of my stomach and my sides are done. And then some of my legs are done. My feet are done. But I just really need to start doing my leg sleeves and like finishing up my back. But I just mostly get them whenever I'm going through something in my life. I'm not very good at like emotional pain. I've never been very good at like working out like how you're supposed to feel and what's the appropriate way to feel and what's the appropriate way to do things. And granted, there's no rule book on like how you should be handling things. I mean, I think we should always be self-aware if what we're doing is self-destructive. I think that's important. Like, so I will never tell anyone like how to grieve or how to go through whatever they're going through. Just be a little more self-aware that we're not doing things that are going to harm us further or cause us more trauma that we're going to have to work through kind of situation. So for me, the safest thing was to get tattoos. And everyone knows when you get a tattoo, it takes like about a week or so to heal. And for me, like, I guess you could say it's almost like a butterfly, like a caterpillar. when they get into the little, or what is it? Like what do they call it? The
The
little,
cocoon.
yeah, when they get in the cocoon, and then they come out and they're a beautiful butterfly or whatever. But for me, I see it that way. Not as like I come out as a beautiful butterfly, but just it gives me that amount of time to be like, okay, like you got your pain, like you know how to deal with it. Now you have like X amount of days to try to work it out or work out why you feel the way you feel and just take the steps you need to go from there. So that's really what my tattoos are for. I mean, I've gotten some, like the one on my back was, I had a few friends that passed away as soon as we graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that one more like in a remembrance of them type situation. Me and my sister do have on the back of our necks like a matching tattoo that we got as sisters. And then we want to get another one that's matching for sisters. But really, like all of mine are just the story of me going through like an abusive relationship and all those things. And then just, like I said, just trying to heal in an appropriate way that's not going to be detrimental or more detrimental to myself later.
Right. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So in your videos I saw on TikTok, I seen one that was on your chest. I don't know, is it like a skull or like a
So
monster or
it's a zombie. So
a
one
zombie?
one of my favorite video games. Well, not my favorite. Yeah, no, Resident Evil for sure. But like my favorite video games, my favorite horror movies. Not necessarily my favorite genre of horror book because those are repetitive. Um, but I love zombies,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because one of my biggest fears is being eaten alive. And I mean, hello, like what's the number one thing that's going to do it besides an animal? Is a zombie. So that's so I did like have a love of zombies, and so that's literally what this is. It's a zombie coming out of a grave, and then there's a guy and a girl on the side. Like it's supposed to be like a 1950s, 60s like horror movie style, like almost like Night of the Living Dead when they cut off to the scene and like the girl's like that. That's how the scene plays out. But we always made a joke, me and my tattoo artist Lewis, about how like his hand is like right on my boob.
That's funny.
So
Yeah, that's so funny.
yeah.
Wow. Well, love the artwork.
Thank you.
It's awesome. I mean, I want to get like my forearms done, and it's been what? When I'm like 38. It's been like 27 years.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it, but never done anything. I'm guessing that I'm waiting.
Mm-hmm.
No, God forbid, I don't want anything or my happen to my mom, but
Mm-hmm.
I know if she saw me with that tattoo, that's it.
Yeah.
Mom's like a devout old school Catholic, but you can't get tattoos and whatever.
My mom wasn't Catholic, but I do remember when I first started really getting them, she would have like just fits. She would have like a mental breakdown when she would see me with them. Like the one when she would like smack me and ask me like, "What are you doing? And you're ruining your skin." And like to me, I just think that's always weird to say to people because like I think whatever makes you feel the most comfortable in your skin and whatever makes you happy. Like I said, as long as it's not hurting you necessarily or hurting anyone else, like it really shouldn't. And I would tell my mom that all the time, but it's hard for moms because they see us a certain way outside of us being adults. So,
Yeah. Like my youngest nephew on my older sister's side, he has a tattoo on his forearm.
mhm.
And he said, "Look, Uncle, I got a tattoo. What do you think?" I'm like, "It looks cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I think. Do you like the tattoo?" It's like, "Yeah, all right, great, fantastic." Now, when you show the grandma, tell me how she reacts. He calls my mom. She literally hung up the phone on him. He called me back. He's like, "Grandma hung up the phone on him, on me." I'm like, "Exactly. I already knew that was going to happen. Go ahead." I already know how she's going to act. So
Mhm.
don't take any offense to it.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I want to get one, but in due time, I guess.
Yeah, you'll get there eventually when the time's right.
Okay. But I would like to thank you for coming on. This was really fun. Now, I have learned more about you, and everybody else did too as well. All your books, you know, your stories about your tattoos and stuff, you know, how poetry really healed you and reading books as well. So, if you want people to come and follow you, where should they look for you?
I have, well, my name on Instagram and TikTok is the same. It's Cthulhu Reads on both, but I am more active on Anti-TT. So if you want to follow me on Anti-TT, it'd be Cthulhu Reads.
Blue Reads. All right. Well, if you ever want to come and do this again, I am more than happy to have you.
Oh, most definitely, Big Day. This was awesome. And you're awesome. And thank you so much for having me again and inviting me on. I appreciate it.
It's been fun.